The stupid people section of the moon is just corpses half a meter above the floor, just drifting with like burst eyes. Like day one,
because they opened the window to look.
Walking through the stupid people section of the moon is this harrowing forest of bodies.
They've got they're floating back to Earth. They left their phone charger. They're like, oh fuck
I mean, can we leave in the whiplash stuff? From while we were setting up, we can't, can we?
Well, it wasn't being recorded.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's just for us.
That's just for us. That's okay though.
That's for the
fine.
room. You know, that the fun little exchange where, you know, we say, what if Whiplash was about a musical comedian?
Sometimes it's good for the audience to know that we're just having a good time outside of this space.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we're not sitting here in complete silence, staring at the wall
till the lights get turned on.
Yeah, I don't talk when I'm not being paid. Only when the lights go on.
I actually don't ever leave this studio. I'm rarely on this podcast, but I never leave. Just in case.
He's
I'm
the
sub.
You're our second repeating guest.
Oh, really? How many? What ranks have I joined?
Glenn Moore.
Yes.
Really good.
Yeah. You and Glenn.
Yes. Yeah. People who never talk about their personal lives.
Yes, that's true.
Perfect.
That's true, isn't it? Why have we got both of the shyest boys back?
Just the funniest, craziest guys, the kookiest lads on
just
the circuit.
Just dry.
Yeah.
We don't want personal stuff.
Sometimes me and Glenn.
This isn't loose women.
Sometimes me and Glenn talk about personal stuff, and it's like you would never want to see that conversation.
Again, you can never tell what's real and what isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We talk a lot about video games.
Yeah.
How perfect is that?
I was working as Nigel Farage's butler. And you're like, did you? Maybe.
I still don't know anything about Glenn Moore's life with confidence. I've taken a tube trip with him before.
Yeah.
It just slides off
the most
your brain.
intimate two men can get.
He'd be a good spy.
I told someone recently I had 2 cats, and they said, "You look like the sort of person who has lizards." And I was like,
"Yeah,
that's such a niche insult."
Yeah, is it? But is it an insult?
I don't know.
I would say lizards, but not snakes.
That's nice.
Yeah. Snakes is an insult.
A healthy gecko.
I think people who have lizards know it's weird. I think people with snakes don't know it's weird. They'll say it like it's nothing. They'll be like, "I just have like 7 snakes in my basement."
They won't even say
fucking really?
They won't even say they have a snake. They'll say, "Oh, I need to be home to feed Otis." and they'll let you presume that it's a dog or a cat.
What are you feeding
it? Massive fucking snake.
It's dead animal from the fridge.
Frozen
dead animal.
rats.
Yeah, sure.
I've got a full anaconda in my house. I have to feed it goats.
Yeah.
I watched
once every 3 weeks, to be fair.
It's a pet that requires you to have several other descending ranks of pets.
Yeah.
My neighbor, when I was growing up, he had like 1,000 lizards.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a lot of lizards.
No, he had.
It's a lot
Riley,
of space.
I think you're exaggerating.
You think I might be exaggerating?
I don't think he had 1,000 lizards.
I think
somebody who looks like
lizards.
they own lizards. That's too many lizards.
You don't look like you own that many.
Yeah, you look like you own. You look like you are in the of lizard owners.
Yeah,
you look like you own the most usual amount of lizards that lizard owners would own. Yeah, 2.
One or two, and
they play together.
Can't have one lizard; they get lonely.
Yeah. And also to eat the other one for fun.
Yeah. Normal, like a gecko or a chameleon or an axolotl.
You know, I watched Prisoners yesterday, and there's have you seen Prisoners?
No. What's Prisoners?
It's the Dennis. Can't say his second name. June guy.
Villeneuve.
I don't think I've ever said his name out loud. I just read it.
Villeneuve.
But there's a scene in that where they go to a creepy guy's house, and the creepy guy's got creepy stuff in his house, including snakes. I was like, can you imagine watching that film and having snakes and being like, oh, like they wrote in a character that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Immediately phoning up to complain about the representation of snake owners.
It's like, so this guy has snakes in his house and a pig's head in the sink. It's like, yeah, I think I should get rid of the snakes.
Is that
I've got loads of kids' clothes that I bought from a shop and I cover them in pig's blood as like a fantasy, and I bury mannequins in the garden and I have snakes. You know, it's like, get rid of the snakes.
The snakes is just like, hey, look at me. I'm a weirdo.
If you own the snakes, on its own, you'd be like, oh no, I have to sell Otis.
Zero warmth from the snake too. There's nothing. You're getting there's no emotional.
There's nothing.
Like I've been sad and I've hugged a cat and I felt better.
Yeah.
Imagine being sad and having only a snake to comfort you.
Like a villain.
That's eyeing you up.
Well, it starts hugging you and you feel better for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you remember.
Then it
keeps
goes in
going.
your mouth a bit, and you're like, I'm kind of turned
Just trying to
on.
measure you.
It would be fun to
You
get
know
like
that classic thing that happens when you have snakes?
get like an Operation Paperclip type scientist. Like it would have to be a German guy. Like you'd need Nazi training for this kind of experiment to do like a social experiment with like how normal a guy. Like if you took like a model, like a really hot guy,
Yeah.
and you put him on Hinge, and he's going on dates with women, and everything
I
about
see.
his life is super normal. He has what we've figured out to be quite a normal median job. Everything's fine. And when she gets back to his house, he has X number of snakes.
Yeah.
And we
Yes.
vary the number of snakes. And then we're like, how many is too many for an otherwise normal guy for them to be like, something's not right?
I'll tell you what you've done. You've just drawn a diagonal upon which Henry Cavill sits.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how many Warhammer do you have to have before?
It's snake or snake equivalent.
Snake or snake equivalent?
Yeah, like I think,
Yeah.
I think Warhammer stuff is a sort of a snake
Snake
equivalent.
in the
Fuck
confused-
yeah, I got a Space Marine in my boat.
And
It's a
snake
it's a
equivalent.
snake, but it's a snake, but you keep the snake in the computer that you've built.
Mhm.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
perfect
yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Oh.
But there's
Yeah.
there's a different graph for going on a date with versus having some kind of fantasy sex scenario with.
Mm.
I think a lot more women would take some kind of arranged sex scenario with Henry Cavill over having to listen to him talk about Warhammer on a date.
That's probably true. Oh, for a second there, I thought you meant women who might have some kind of guy with snakes kink,
Mhm.
which is also possible.
must
You would have to
exist.
control for them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those guys seem to always have a kind of frightening girlfriend.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. When
Stacy's coming
yeah,
over,
a
so
lot
I
of
have to
people
feed
love to
Otis.
say, I need a goth GF, but those guys need a goth
Yeah,
GF.
they do.
They're limited.
Or motorbike, like biker gang GF, right?
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
An old lady. I think
An
they're
old
called.
lady.
An old
That's
lady,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The snake,
Biker gang
the
GF.
snake guys have, they might have a denim vest that they wear at all times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They might listen to bands that involve lyrics like
Well, they might listen to Whitesnake.
they might listen to which is exactly the right kind of band for a
Yeah.
snake guy.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Is there a white snake? Is that a type of snake? Or
You
is
get
it like-
albinism.
Yeah.
Does that count?
It's actually a brown snake, but it's albino.
Yeah.
It's an albino.
You got to check these things when you buy the snake. Look under the scales.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
For paint.
Yeah, sure.
There's a paint to the snake.
Oh, another scale kicker.
That's
He's
a
not
perfect-
interested.
That's a perfect Victorian flim flam.
Yeah.
As a yes, sir, it's a genuine albino python.
That's very like Scooby Doo kind of way of covering up a snake.
Painting
You cover
snake.
it. You just wash the paint off it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
In the same way that a snake owner watches that film and goes, "Oh no, that's how I'm seen. These are my brethren."
Mm-hmm.
Do you think a guy who owns like a really frightening, dilapidated van watches a serial killer documentary and he's like, "Oh no,
What? So
my
watch-
van! I need to clean my van."
My dad needs that.
Yeah.
My dad needs that. My dad said to me, he said, because my dad basically like loves like just walking in the countryside. He
Sure.
lives in London, but he was like, like a van. I said, yeah. He goes, well, that's like big enough for like a double mattress.
Get a lot of
So
snakes in
you
there.
just get you get a lot of snakes in there. You get the mattress. You just put it in the back of the van. You just sleep in that. You just go around. I was like, I will not have my father become a serial killer.
Yeah.
He did not understand what I was talking about.
To be fair, the
But
serial
I sh-
killers aren't living in the van.
Are they not?
No, I don't think so. They're just
You should
using
know
the
about
van.
it.
But they might use a.
I've watched the documentaries.
Yeah, they might use a mattress van for something sinister.
I watched that documentary, Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah,
That's got a van serial killer in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
I think
yeah.
it was Stacey Dooley who did that one. Stacey Dooley talking to Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Wow.
if you if someone was like, this guy lives in a van, and I looked at him and he had like a handlebar mustache, if he looked a bit like either a biker or a hippie, like if he looked a bit 70s,
Yeah.
I'd go, oh, fine, yeah,
Mm.
that's fine. He looks like that's okay for him.
It's type of
There's-
guy.
If he was wearing a
hold on.
suit,
Yeah.
I'd be like,
There's-
oh,
yeah, yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
There's,
fuck?
Yeah.
You're missing something, which is that there's a whole new type of van living thing happening.
Is it?
Van life is like a big.
Is it?
It's a big trend.
It's
yeah,
a
in
YouTube.
America.
It's a YouTube category. I
Yeah,
think.
we're
Much
like-
like serial killing.
Where like people will like gilet people, right? People who own a Patagonia gilet,
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't
And-
got rooms for sleeves in the back of the van.
Yeah.
You got to condense all your clothes.
and then they're like, they're partners. Will usually. It's a classic thing to make a YouTube series out of. Is that we've sold all or most of our stuff.
next
we've
season of
converted-
Glue Factory from the van.
Mm.
We've converted this van.
Sorry, I'm excited for your van.
Okay.
Yeah.
We converted this van Now we have we live the perfect life where we have fold out bunk beds together.
But it's like
we cook on a well,
is a van they've sort of luxuriously converted?
Well, it appears so.
Well, part of the video series will then be built. So the first stage is building the van. So that's the hook.
Okay.
You're going to be converting our van.
So it's
let's turn that into 25 videos an hour long of me just basically screwing in a piece of insulation into the side of a car.
Yeah. Okay.
There's only one pair of YouTubers that I'm willing to watch 25 videos of them doing something to a vehicle. And it's a pair of brothers who I can only describe as American Southern Canadians, because even though they are from the American South, to me they read as Canadians, who just buy totaled Lamborghinis, like that people drunk, like rental Lamborghinis that people drunk drive like around like telephone poles and stuff, and then just figure out ways to get them in perfect condition again with the stuff that they have around.
I'm also obsessed with a YouTube channel like this, but it's a guy in the UK.
Yeah.
Do you mean stuff they have around? Do you mean like tins of baked beans or something? Like it's like
I have to add,
like MacGyvering the Lamborghini.
yeah, it's like Scrap Heap Challenge. It's like so we have an empty can of Lucozade.
Yeah. I've got a bumper off a Vauxhall Coaster. Stick that on there.
Yeah.
We have aluminium foil. We have 2 sheets of aluminium foil. That would you know.
It's shiny.
It's got chrome.
Cool.
Shiny and chrome.
I mean, to be honest, if you start going through the parts on a Lamborghini, you might be surprised how much aluminium foil is involved.
Yeah.
It's they have like a garage. It's 2 guys called the Goon Squad.
Wow, they're popular.
The Goon
and they're
Squad.
really popular.
Why do they read as Canadian to you?
Because I think
They're very
anytime
polite.
No, anytime I see sort of affable, like a very affable guy, but who looks like he likes to have fun by crashing an ATV into another ATV.
Affable country folk.
That to me always reads Canadian.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's definitely Midwest then.
Yeah, so even though I know that there are way more people like that in the States, to me it's just like everything from the sort of the casual backwards hatness of it all.
Turn that
feels
ATV
Canadian.
into a snowmobile. That's definitely Canadian.
Yeah.
And that's the only person I'm willing to watch spend 25 videos. And when I say stuff they have around, again, professional auto garage. They're not just being like, well, we can shape this clod of dirt. They're not primitive technology.
Yeah, I think though, if you're watching the serial killer documentary, the worst thing if you've got a dilapidated van is if the guy has a nicer van than you.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't even be a serial killer with this van.
I couldn't even lure people with this van.
I'm getting laughed off the job site.
You're basically getting keeping up with the Joneses, but you're keeping up with the Dahmers with sort of your.
So I considered living in a van for about 2 months. I just got like into I was like, because I was at the time, I think I was like open mic, but doing a lot of gigs
around and about, and
I was like, well, it'd actually be perfect if I just went from each one to each one.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and then I was like watching a lot of like the Q&As for the van life people, and the Q&As are very depressing. They'll be like the pros and the cons, and the pros are like
shitting in a bucket.
Yeah, that's pro.
If that's your kink,
pro.
it's a pro.
Yeah. But the cons are like, but they have to do it with this because they got to do the YouTube face. They've got to be like, hey guys, like, but they'll be like, so it's like sometimes it's like really scary because someone will come on the van, like they'll tap on the side of the van and like scream like I'm gonna like kill you, and then but it's like the morning sometime, like it's a morning and a bit. So,
you've got the van, but someone else is the serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what people don't tell you about.
Yeah.
Flip the script.
Yeah.
But it was
Jesus.
But
man.
I think
some guy who's like a van
unhappy.
owner advocate being like, it's actually a very unhelpful stereotype that serial killers own vans. In fact, most serial killers don't own vans, and often the people who own vans are the victims of serial killers. So check your privilege.
Yeah.
Actually, mate.
Yeah.
Anti-van prejudice.
I knew someone, or I knew a friend of a friend, sort of lived in a van with his partner. I think it was by choice. It was a friend of a...
Rather than a sort of mobile Fritzl situation.
Oh, okay, there we go. First episode of the new year that we recorded.
It was so opposite there, though. I really don't bring it up anymore. That was... You were implying someone being confined in the back of a van.
Was it forced in like a Nazi? Like a Nazi would force him in, like Hitler would? We making that argument?
like Hitler would have personally been like, okay, you live in the van now. You can't come out. I have the Luger. I have Richard Nixon's favorite mayor,
That's how
Dick
Hitler
Luger.
got started.
It was his favorite mayor of Indianapolis.
Christ, Dick Luger.
Dick Luger.
Come
Dick
on.
This man's got a gun for a penis. I like his moxie.
There's a guy. There's a guy coming out. The Australians have him. He's called the It's called the Girth Master.
This guy, he tricks communists into sucking him off.
Well, we gotta get him.
He gives him a hello from Uncle Sam.
We gotta send him to Hollywood. It would clear that place out in 2 days. Yes, Mr. President, we know your opinions on the pictures. Why don't we send him over to Roman Polanski's house?
Haldeman.
God damn.
Inaudible.
Yeah.
Muffled. He sort of, I think he sort of, I've met him a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Once at my old flat, which was the bad one, where I lived with friends who I'm still friends with.
Well, it was good, but in 2004.
Yeah, that one. And then I ran into him again at the birthday of one of the people that lived there, and in his time in the van, he had become like a Bill Gates microchip guy, sort of an heavily anti-vax.
He mentioned the... no. Oh, no, sorry. No, continue, sorry.
Yeah,
I've thought... Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
he invented a folder system.
You said microchip, and I was like, he invented... With the computer... No,
he's a CEO. Intel has fallen on some very hard times. He's the CEO of Intel.
I do it being an anti-microchip guy. Like, you're not even bothered about the vaccines. You're just like, no,
I wish that the vaccines had actual vaccine in it, not this microchip shit.
Yeah.
It's a quality control issue for them.
What about being anti-injected with microchips, but you don't think that's happening?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying if it did, I'm glad it's not. I know it's not.
And let me tell you, I'm also relieved that the royal family aren't lizards from the moon.
Yeah.
Because that would be bad.
And if they were, I would like them removed.
Yeah, I'd
But
be
then-
against it.
I
Send
know
them
they're
back
not.
to the moon.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
But if they were, yeah, a hypothetical, just like a guy who's on his guard.
Yeah.
This is a warning to Bill Gates not to start doing that, actually.
Yeah.
Because people wouldn't like it.
The most
I wouldn't like it.
focus grouped Labour policy of all time. We're going to send the royal family back to the moon, where they belong.
The median voter has told us the royal family needs to go back to the moon.
The British space program is going to be brought back. We're going to have our own space program again, and we're going to send a mission to the moon, crewed entirely by the royal family, to see if they like it there more back where they live. They can come home if they want. What we're giving them is the option.
We're going to feudalize the moon. And it might sound old-fashioned, but the moon doesn't even have a social hierarchy-based system yet. So you've got to take it baby steps. Feudalize the moon.
The
early
moon-
modern the moon.
The moon isn't ready for early modern capitalism.
No.
So
Dutch merchants.
Right now, the moon is more of a series of tribal confederations.
At
this point.
Loose affiliations.
Sort of kin groups that are based largely on like on family
fealty.
Family fealty, but like outside the family are considered other groups. We don't have.
Split the moon into 4 bits. One for brave people, one for smart people, one for stupid people, and one for the Nazis. just like in school. Remember? Just like in school, they do it in school.
Every British school,
If
actually.
you don't fit in the category, you don't belong on the moon.
That's the plot of the Harry Potter books.
When you have anything ordinary about you or ambiguous, or maybe you're a mixture, you're not allowed to, on the rocket. That's for Earth. That kind of complex character development is for Earth.
Yeah, you got to be straightforward if you want to go to the moon.
Simple on the moon.
Yeah.
The area's too thin up there for us to bother thinking about shades of grey.
Yeah. We have to conserve. We can't be talking too much to like work out character traits. There's not a lot of oxygen there. We have to be short and to the point.
It's brutal to be in the stupid people quadrant on the moon. Because it's like you feel like they're not going to be building any of the technology necessary for the like the quality of life in the stupid people quadrant compared to the Nazi quadrant, which has all of the space scientists, is probably going to be now. Obviously, the Nazi quadrant is going to be a lot more unpleasant in other ways, but you'll probably survive longer.
The stupid people, they're like throwing their potatoes out into the sky. They're like, look at that float away. That's crazy. Just won't come back down.
Run out of potatoes day one.
Just the stupid people section of the moon is just corpses half a meter above the floor, just drifting with like burst eyes. Like day one,
because they opened the window to look.
Walking through the stupid people section of the moon is this harrowing forest of bodies.
They've got they're floating back to Earth. They left their phone charger. They're like, oh fuck If I just get the. If I get it right, I can
jump home.
Yeah.
And the news just like tragedy struck today in the historic stupid quarter of Moon City, where of course another window has been left open.
It's where you go to get one of those like beer hats.
Yeah. He's got a bar down in the stupid quarter. I'll go talk to him there.
The prices are so illogical.
You won't get any good answers out of him.
Yeah.
Why? Well, he's an idiot. He's dumb. I'm not saying he's evasive.
The beers are $2 each or 4 for $3. It's doesn't make any sense.
No, it's that's traditional stupid pricing. It's all very authentic.
What a wonderful way to
Stupid
start life on the moon. If we were like so what we would like is social experiments. And we think the best way to start it is to split into 4 and just see how it goes. Just to see how would Harry Potter work on the moon? Would it go on for hundreds of years? And would the Nazis create like a in the moon? Also in the moon, underneath the moon, there's a Drace's chamber with a snake in it. Drace's snake in the chamber.
Yeah.
So, but those are the only Harry Potter elements.
Yeah.
Like, no magic,
nothing else.
It's just 4. Everyone is split into one of the 4 quarters of Moon City.
Yeah.
And there's a snake in the middle.
Well, that's how you know Dumbledore's a weird guy, because he's got a big snake.
Well, no, there's no more.
The basement.
No more Harry Potter elements. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just those 4.
Going around the stupid quarter, making loads of money, or taking loads of whatever it is, ration tickets, oxygen tanks, just by doing like that. Thumb trick. Just really freaking out everyone in the stupid quarter.
It's actually like a huge industry in the smart quarter. If you just you commute to the stupid quarter and you just do 3-card Monty all day. And then you come home and you're like,
the problem is there's not like
they put your hat on and the briefcase.
It's 5 years into the moon, and the stupid people are still like having things float around. They're like, look at yogurt. Yogurt's like, you've been a years. Like, you've been absolutely years.
You can't go through everything.
It's like, still every time they fuck up the toilet, they're like, oh, I cut the piss, keeps going on my face. Shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of piss, mist and fog in the stupid quarter.
Smelly quarter.
Smelly.
People coming over
quarter.
from the Nazi quarter to enjoy the piss mist. Like certain guys. Well, I like to go to the stupid quarter and let my hair down.
Strolls through the piss mist.
It's welcome.
Stupid people always travelling to a different side of the moon to see the Earth is like, no, it's gonna go round.
Just wait.
Yeah, just go round. We have to keep moving, keep going round.
Well, actually, the moon doesn't rotate on its axis. Does it?
Sorry, I actually belong to the stupid quarter of the moon.
That's right. Sorry, I didn't mean to impugn your culture.
Oh, the 4 of us. Okay. Stupid, and then
wait. Sorry. So what we've got stupid, smart, Nazi, and brave.
Brave. So I'm stupid. Then.
Well, it's a bad draw that one of us has got to be Nazi. Yeah. That's not ideal.
And also, it's not great. Two out of the 4, not great.
If the Nazis were allowed to pick, I feel like they'd pick Pierre. I feel like you would exhibit some of the qualities, not the political ones.
No.
The physical qualities.
They would
Strong public speaker.
Yeah.
And also,
all of us.
You can't see it on the podcast, but Pierre slammed his hand down many times on the table. When he disagrees, he goes, no.
We keep cutting that. But
My favorite thing actually is where in Piccadilly Circus they put a big face of Pierre's and then it just says yes over and over again.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah.
It makes me feel powerful and positive about my day.
Yeah, it makes you feel sort of full of energy and sort of and almost sort of futurist momentum that you could finally shock Britain out of its lassitude.
I don't like the way that we're suggesting that Pierre might be the Nazi. And he's put his hand over his mouth like he's thinking about it. He's going,
I think,
actually, yeah.
I think if they were a neo-Nazi now, they initially like the idea of me because, I'm white and I'm from South Africa, and they just presume
they're getting a wrong impression from those data points.
But
they're going to be like, oh, this is a guy who's had his farm expropriated.
Yeah, but I think visually, you look more like a nice poster. You look like a guy on a poster who's looking at a 45-degree angle to the upper right corner.
Is that the opposite of what would your job be in like the communist commune? What would your job be in the Third Reich? Riley's on the post.
I'm on the poster. But I also want a picture of my face on like Fenwick or whatever on the opposite side of Piccadilly Circus, also saying yes. You know what I'm referring to?
Oh yeah.
The Benito Mussolini C.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant do I know Piccadilly Circus? I'm like, yes, I'm aware. I'm familiar with it. Yes, Tiger.
Yes, there's the Tiger, the Cupid statue, Fenwick's,
the billboards,
and where Riley gets his haircut.
Maybe the best way to decide is
that
not
is what it's called.
deciding who we more Nazi. It's deciding who's the bravest and who's the smartest, and then the last person is a Nazi because that's all that you have left. Because that's what
that's what they've got left.
That's what happened in the
moon.
40s
On the moon. On the
They said, well,
40s
we
and then
can't.
again.
We can't be
clearing.
smart. We can't be brave. We can't be stupid. Let's be Nazis.
We've covered smart and
brave? Who's brave?
But
Who's
what's
the
happening in the
bravest?
brave section of Moon City though? Are they just fighting lions and
They're just trying
touching electrical
so
wires?
the Nazis.
They're being honest about their mental health. Actually,
They're
that's what they're doing.
they're confronting injustice?
They're
Yeah, yeah,
protecting
yeah.
stupid quarter from Nazi quarter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
bravery to be on the moon and have a quarter of it be quite stupid. It's to be like, well, I guess. Yeah, I guess maybe.
So the brave, they
Allow
have
it.
to be neither smart nor stupid nor Nazi. Also, they can't have
Yeah.
any elements of those qualities.
They would force it to be renamed the kind quarter.
Everyone in the
stupid
brave
quarter would be-
quarter is like 100 IQ.
Yeah.
Mm.
The stupid quarter would be renamed the kind quarter by them.
Yeah.
No. That's not why it's fair. That's not what it's.
Uh-huh.
It's kind.
Ignore
the kindest
that they-
people.
Ignore that they
Yeah.
keep opening the window.
Yeah.
Ignore all the
They're
floating
curious.
bodies.
Also,
In
I
their
think
culture, they like the window open. The wokeness that would develop in this moon society would be very fun. like sort of stupid becomes an ethnicity.
Yeah.
It's the fault of the designers of the space station for making the windows
Openable.
openable.
Yeah,
To be fair, that is a big fault in the design of a space city is openable windows.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Well,
There's
no, it was a
It's
microaggression
actually-
when
it's
they
a-
made the windows not openable
Yeah.
because they like them open, and it's actually patronizing.
They only like them open for 5 seconds, though.
It's not. It's
That's
not.
as long as you can
that's,
enjoy it.
that's the national sport is how long can you keep the window open before closing it.
But the brave quadrant would be good at that too, because that's quite brave to try that.
So it's like
Yeah.
that. It's like the
The lad quadrant.
lad quadrant.
like the fucking legend quadrant of the moon. I bet I can stick my head out there for 5 seconds.
I like the smart section of the moon is like basically like what determines that is not opening the window. At this point, it's like, oh, we're smart for not opening the
The
window.
bar
It's,
is
it's,
that
it's
low.
pretty low, to be on the moon.
stupid quarter opens the window for fun. Brave quarter opens the window to show off.
The
Nazi quarter opens the windows in the other quarter.
And also to
To make a point.
yeah.
Only the smart quarter has decided to go without openable windows.
Leave them closed.
Leave the
And that's why they're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good.
So all
Yeah.
we need is a few hundred people. The royal family, if you remember, this is where this all began.
Yes, of
So
course.
the royal family are going to go up. Oh yeah, of course, because there's also the tribal societies on the basically we're talking about like Lithuania in 1440, right? Like
I was about to say that. Yeah. I was, you know what? I was thinking
You know what
just
I'm
the
talking
same
about,
thing.
right?
The
Yeah,
Polish-Lithuanian
Teutons.
Commonwealth.
Yeah, Teutonic Knights are showing
the
up.
sort of
and
the targets of the Teutonic Crusades, the pre-feudal Baltics.
the what was the religion called?
Oh fuck.
With a P? It doesn't matter.
Some kind of paganism, I presume.
It was. It was.
No. It was
Said with
monotheism.
such
Actually,
ennui.
it was.
Oh,
it
really?
was by pure coincidence an Abrahamic religion.
Oh.
No, it was not. No, it wasn't. I'm being. That's a. I'm doing
okay.
a fun. I'm doing a fun.
Romuva. But it had some other name. Anyway.
Yeah.
Has there been a serious drama about the royals being lizards? Like, so it's like set, like it's like
The Crown, but
the Crown. So she's
Yeah.
she
If Amazon Prime bought The Crown, that
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
like the next season.
So nothing in the first episode, like all the way through the first episode, and at the end, there's like they like cut their hand, and then it's like a scale underneath it, and they're like, ah.
yeah,
They should
yeah,
do
yeah,
a third Prince Andrew interview movie that takes that angle.
Can you imagine if what he says
When
is
Mateless,
he
like, sort of-
accidentally says he's a lizard?
Question
The iron
one, I'm
lizards.
a tough talking interviewer.
In his he has to be like under a big bulb, or his answers are really slow.
He's just eating flies. What was that? Nothing.
Every time he goes feed, someone brings in a big tweezer with a big bug on it.
Yeah.
He eats cricket off a tweezer.
Sorry, that would explain why he doesn't
He's
sweat.
not a
Yeah.
lizard. He just went to Oaxaca once and got really into it. He had a great holiday in Oaxaca and is unwilling to fully let it go.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
can I
you
be a
cockroaches.
paedophile? I'm only 6.
Do you want to see my impression of a lizard? It'd probably
Yeah.
good for the. Okay, all right.
Is that why someone told you look like you own lizards? Because you keep doing this impression.
Why pets look like their owners.
I've got to go to the toilet, but all right, hang on.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hate that sound.
Pretty good though.
It's
Bad
good.
sound. Bad
Yeah.
sound.
Tell me I'm
Very
a mad lizard.
Upsetting sound.
Tell me I didn't look like a lizard.
Mm-hmm.
I dare you.
I would never dare to do that.
No.
Yeah, it's because you're not in the brave quadrant of the moon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You are the Nazi quadrant.
I'm in the
of
Nazi
moon.
quadrant, getting a big modernist sculpture done of my head.
Yeah.
What if
Driving a little Volkswagen Beetle that keeps bouncing off the road and floating through the air.
colliding with the floating bodies from the stupid quadrant?
Yeah.
What favorite lizard? As a guy who looks like he owns lizards and impersonates them, and who I'm starting to suspect does own one.
Yeah.
I quite like the bearded one, but I just feel like that's a lot of people have that one the most.
But it's okay.
The bearded dragon.
I think if you got like a brochure of lizards, I'd probably have a better one.
They're surprisingly small, the bearded dragon.
Yeah.
I once did it. They're one of those things you see them in photos and you assume they're like 4 times the size that they are.
Sort of cat-sized.
Yeah, but then they're like gecko sized. They're like very small. Yeah. I once did stand up with one on my arm.
Oh, I know the gig.
Yeah.
I did that
I know the gig.
There's a gig where you do stand up with a lizard holding
Not
a lizard.
necessarily a lizard. Like it could be a chicken, could be a big spider.
Do you know
chicken.
this? You know those clips from like
Sorry, a chick like a live chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, not a
struggle.
chicken. Just like a breast from Little.
That's clowning though, baby.
With a Nando's on my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know those old clips from like talk shows from the 70s when they'd get Greg the animal handler on.
Yeah,
And it'd
now
be like
we've-
a guy with like a snake and a chameleon and a
So that
Yeah,
Rob
yeah.
Ford got attacked by
Fuck
a falcon
department.
doing
yeah.
that.
So, but there's a comedy gig at the Fringe sometimes run by these guys from New York
Yeah.
where they do that. They get someone from Edinburgh Zoo,
Yeah.
Or like an animal shelter, I think.
because they were relatively exotic. There was a snake, there was a fancy Polish chicken.
Yeah.
There
It was
was
like
a
a display
gecko.
chicken.
Yeah. It was
Wouldn't want to eat it.
It was like a chicken that was in the cavalry. It had a kind of fancy uniform on.
The Polish cavalry where they're on chicken back.
I'd be up for watching
Yeah.
a gig of the opposite, so it's like an animal that's not safe. You do get
Yeah.
you gig in a gig with an animal
You mean
in a
like
cage.
man?
A Komodo
Oh my god,
dragon.
the
Yeah.
most dangerous animal of all.
Well, in the
Mm.
crowd, no less.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, and they're
Hundreds.
all zombies.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
goes, but they're actually not the dangerous ones, it's the man. It's
It's
dangerous.
the one guy who's not a zombie.
Yeah, it's the one who'll steal your supplies.
Think about that.
Betray you.
My girlfriend the other week was telling me a story about she grew up in Cheshire, which I would describe as a town that has a League of Gentlemen energy. It constantly produces League of Gentlemen type incidents where I just don't. It's like it's in the outskirts of London, but just weird fucking back of beyond shit is always going on there.
Yeah.
And one of the things was they had this. There's like a pet shop there that's like well known, and there's like a weird guy who runs it, and there's loads of like exotic animals in there. And she was going to be, she's like, yeah, he had a Komodo dragon in there chained up, and you could go and you could stroke it. And I was like, there's no way
Can't
he
be
had a
true.
Komodo dragon in there. And I'm like, she was like, it was a big lizard. Oh, it must have been a monitor lizard or something. She was like, no, it was a Komodo dragon. And then eventually I showed her a picture of a Komodo dragon. She was like, no, it wasn't that. And I'm like, yeah, it can't have been that. One of the most dangerous animals, just loose in a pet
Just
shop.
hanging out.
It almost
But-
kills James Bond.
Yeah,
You're kidding me?
exactly. Yeah.
They figured out. Did you hear all that shit growing up about like Komodo dragons? They've got like a bacteria. Their teeth are so full of like old meat,
Yeah.
rotten meat from what they.
Yeah. So you get like abscesses. When
That's
they
why
bite
you
or
die
whatever.
so quickly because
Yeah,
they've got
yeah.
like mega bacteria. It's not true. They have venom.
Oh, really?
They finally figured it out after the years. Like way later than they should, given how fucking much I was hearing about these animals growing up.
Also,
Yeah.
if
Them
you
and the
look at-
honey badger you hear about a lot.
Yeah, the honey badger.
I hear about them
Mhm.
a fair bit. Just
Red
'cause of-
pandas, I think they didn't exist before 3 years
I
ago.
have to stop looking up the history of Lithuania
You
because
need
I'm
to-
still trying to find the name of the Lithuanian pagan religion.
12-step program for looking up the
problem
history of
is
Lithuania.
I'll tell you what happened is I got distracted reading about Pope Gregory the Ninth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will happen.
Been
It
there.
will happen.
Been there.
Calling
You're not-
my sponsor because I found myself on the Polish side of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth Wikipedia page. It's
Yeah.
one step away. It's too close. I know the temptations are setting in.
Yeah, like sniffing vodka.
It's one of these things where you
Yeah.
sort of you know it's not Pelagianism, is it?
No.
Your sponsor is like a Russian guy who's like, Lithuania,
It's
not
got
a
a-
real country.
It's one of those names that looks like it's in Finnish because there's so many different weird vowels and
Yeah.
consonants in a row, and there's a double dot above an A. There's an
Yeah,
umlaut
one of
above an
those.
A.
Mm.
It's one of the when you think of something and you're like,
It's from
like to know this.
It's in a map game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in a map
I
game.
don't, I don't
You can
like
find this in
languages
a
with a
map
lot of
game.
diacritical marks. I'm like, figure it out with the letters. I'm not.
That's just because you're used to English.
Yeah.
No, but I've learned many languages, and I just they're usually
But Russian doesn't have those either, does it?
no, they're usually unnecessary. You can solve it with spelling.
Yeah, that's true. I have a question that relates to the last time you were on. You weren't sleeping.
Oh, it's still none.
What?
Yeah. I didn't sleep at all last night.
Is this like Thatcher style?
is it the
like you
lizards?
more hours in the day?
Yeah, they need a lot of attention. They need a lot of attention. No, I still don't sleep, no.
You like
Yeah.
doze.
Well, you got to catch the flies to then feed to the.
Yeah.
It's time consuming going around with a big net.
The early lizard catches the flies.
Yeah.
That's what Hugh's always saying.
Yeah.
So you're not sleeping.
No.
What do you do? What did you do instead last night?
No, so I do simulate sleep. So it's like I do have to lie in a bed and close my eyes and sort of pretend to be asleep. Just so my brain kind of shuts off. I listen to like audiobooks. Well, I listen to the same audiobook every day. Then that just like
so you
clears my
create
mind.
this
What's
kind
the
of weird like
audiobook?
REM sleep doze.
The Hobbit.
Which
Hobbit?
one?
The Hobbit.
Hobbit.
Yeah.
Do you
So
know
just-
this by heart by now?
Probably, yeah.
You've got to be pretty close.
Would it be illegal for me to just start reciting the Hobbit?
I don't
On the
think
podcast.
so.
Like a
'Cause you're
Homeric
quoting.
bard.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're
It's got to
quoting.
be
I
out
don't
of
think.
copyright by now.
No.
No,
is it not?
heavens no. No, Tintin's only just coming out of copyright.
Oh, so we can just do what we
Hobbit's
want Tintin.
old, though,
we can
no?
send it. We can send him to like a Panyang to the
It's,
full moon
it's
party.
a certain number of years after the author's death, though.
Oh right,
You
okay.
can
Oh, I
do-
thought it was from publication. Okay, right.
Author's death.
We can do
yeah.
like a kind of like a dark Tintin.
Yeah, Dark Tintin.
Because the whole thing is
they did Dark Tintin. Don't you worry about that. There's so many.
Oh, no,
there are so many Tintin
No, they
books
did
that
Dark
like you
Tintin.
cannot
I
get
forgot,
now because of they were just the most absurdly racist
Very
They
thing.
did a lot of
Belgian.
different types
Yeah.
of Tintin, not just Dark Tintin. Sometimes they did all different manners of Tintin.
So how about
Yeah.
this? How about this? We could do gritty Tintin.
Yeah,
Tintin.
yeah,
Okay.
But
yeah.
Tintin, but like sort of it's filmed with like a lot of shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Or
you
like
know.
Danish Tintin.
We
But,
got Willem Dafoe plays
Tintin,
Captain
there's
Haddock.
a body been found on the bridge which goes between Sweden and Denmark.
Wait, they just remade Bon Cop Bad Cop, but no, the bridge as well.
The bridge?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
also the premise of Bon Cop Bad Cop. Is a body is found on the border between Ontario and Quebec,
Yeah.
and then
Like at I Am Legend, he strangles Snowy to death because he has to.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
Or
Yeah.
it would be like origin story to add grit. Like, yes, it's still just Tintin and Snowy, but he found Snowy at a crime scene that he.
Yeah, yeah,
He goes on the, he
He's
goes
a-
on. He goes on the train.
Then
He
there'll
sees
be a
everything he
follow-up
wants on the
movie.
train.
he's
Yeah.
a boy reporter, is Tintin.
Yeah. Follow-up
Yeah.
movie called
Yeah.
Haddock.
So you
I
could
think
the
do.
he's, I
origin
think he's
story
like
of
17
Captain
years
Haddock,
old.
yeah.
I think
you
he's,
could do like
Blistering barnacles.
you could put him in. You could, you,
is a cruel mistress.
he could be like a war correspondent.
Yes,
You know?
yeah.
Mm.
Tintin.
Like he could be Tintin in
Tintin
like,
goes to Burma.
Tintin goes to Srebrenica. you know?
Yeah. Like what?
Tintin in Palestine. You know,
I like the idea.
Tintin and Snowy running down like Sniper Alley in Pristina.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I
Or
like
Tintin meeting James Blunt.
like an Easter egg for British readers.
Yeah.
well, Tintin does all the. He does hot wings. You know, he does the
Yeah,
hot ones.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he does
yeah.
everything. He does all the. He does the whole
Tintin
thing.
on Rogan.
God,
Yeah.
hot ones would kill a Belgian.
It would
Yeah.
They'd simply die.
so different from chocolate.
The Belgian
Yeah.
equivalent
It's really
of
different from chocolate.
They
hot
exist on
wings.
a diet of cheese and milk.
the Belgian equivalent of hot ones is 17% beers.
Yeah.
But they've got to have it on
yeah.
chips. They've got to have a hot sauce and chips.
Yeah.
They couldn't have it on
Yeah.
anything else. Yeah.
It's so yeah, but so you're saying like Belgian hot ones is like Anna de Armas gets to her 5th beer, and this one is like 12%.
Yeah, she gets to like
Yeah.
her fifth like small chalice of dark brown.
Yeah. She's being
Yeah.
interviewed by a monk.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then just-
Yeah. It's either you're being interviewed by a monk or you're being interviewed by like a kind of a pantalooned diamond merchant or something. A guy who's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
a big
yeah.
sack of cloves.
Mhm.
And he's interviewing you.
Yeah. And they're asking you like detailed questions about like European fiscal policy.
Yeah, you're interviewing a guy whose first language is German, and he keeps referring to where he's from as the Spanish Netherlands. The most Belgian man.
So
Historically Belgian
So
man.
is this so what
Spanish
you're talking about
Netherlands.
is what like a Belgian Catholic holdout who really wants the Habsburgs to come back.
I guess I'm imagining like almost like a kind of spirit of Belgium through the ages.
So so you think that do you think that we need each country needs a hot ones and you're interviewed by the spirit of that country through the ages?
So for the UK it would be like John Bull and Uncle
Yeah.
Sam. And,
yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
Ireland it's like Bernard Shaw.
British hot ones. Who are you being interviewed by?
But what
Ross
is-
Kemp.
Is it just Vindaloo's?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we also like
It's got to be curry, surely.
But the problem
yeah.
is the spirit of Britain through the age as you I guess is either John Bull or Boudica or
Oh yeah. I know
right?
what
So
mean.
you have to encompass the wholeness of a place. And
Yeah.
now Belgium, that being someone from the sort of 16th century, that makes sense
That's
because
true.
there wasn't really a Belgium before then.
Yeah, that's the first time they made any headlines.
Belgium got PR in the 16th century.
Apart from the Belgique. Tribe?
There was a tribe. They had a tribe.
They brought it over to the UK to try and conquer it.
Did they?
They were famous because they could swim.
Oh, no one had thought of that before.
Everyone was so amazed.
Oh man, it sucks to be swimming now and not be famous for it.
I know. Imagine them just being like, this guy can just go across rivers without dying at all. And everyone's like, how? What?
I don't know how many people
try and
died.
drown me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first
By the time
time
they try and drown me, that guy's a witch. Too late. I can swim.
Try again.
Try again.
See what happens. I like the idea of you being like a Hafiz, but for the Hobbit instead of the Quran. You just know it. You just have it all there. You can recite it at conventions.
Yeah, for sure.
You could get good money for like walk around Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Just announcing
Yeah.
the Hobbit.
You could do a challenge where it could be like
In the hole in the ground.
people can pick
Yep.
like a sort of page in line number, and you should be able to recite it chapter and verse.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, of course. I think that would help my diagnosis of what I might have.
It would
You
help.
can do every single line from The Hobbit.
It would help you sleep.
What does that mean,
Does
Pierre?
it need?
Pierre, you've written a book about that. What does that mean?
You could
I
be
think
like the
it means
Ayatollah of the Lord of the Rings religion. I feel like Lord of the Rings fandom is close to tipping over into religious fanaticism. You could get them.
Well, it's because most Lord of the Rings fandom, that's sort of any kind of real now, seems to be people with defense tech companies. Like Palmer Luckey and Peter Thiel. And stuff.
You could become very powerful. You could be like the Ivan Dugin of like defense tech guys.
You would be their
like
advisor.
Sort of,
The problem is though they don't like The Hobbit. You're going to need to start memorizing sort of the Lord of the Rings,
Silmarillion.
and then you can go work for Palmer Luckey, like just sort of following him around as he walks around his flip flops and Hawaiian shirts and stuff.
The Silmarillion would cure your
Just
fucking sleeping problem.
Reciting.
Yeah.
Then you'd go to sleep.
Because it sounds a bit like a lizard too. I'd like that.
sleep
Silmarillion,
scientists trying to develop a book so boring that even insomniacs will be able to sleep while listening to it.
Speaking, you said earlier, someone said they look like you own lizards. It reminds me of I have a friend who I go see occasionally, and he'll say something that tends to stick with me. He has a sort of a fun turn of phrase. And this time I went to see him for dinner on New Year's Eve before we then went to the same party. And he described someone as, quote, looking like they know their way around a thermos. To mean sort of being a bit of a sort of a bit of a dorky anorak-ish guy. And it's just
there's two types of anorak. There's camping anorak and there's rave anorak.
Yeah.
You know? There's always people that are anoraks with our girlfriend like that who's always wearing an anorak, but it just looks like he's about to go to a rave.
No thermos though.
Yeah.
No thermos.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. You're talking about anorak wearers rather than anorak qua nerd. Because there are also rave nerds.
There are rave nerds too.
Oh, there are rave nerds.
Well, I learned about
I know a lot
this
of rave nerds
recently. But I don't mean people who are nerds about raves. I mean people who are nerds who are using raving as a thinly veiled cover of their nerdiness. I encountered these people recently who are like kind of like people who like went to Oxford and contrived to be bullied at Oxford, which is already like a bar, like that kind of like hiking shoe people. You know who I mean?
Knows their way around a thermos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the people who go hiking with their parents for fun, like this type of person.
Walking holiday people.
People who have degrees in chemistry, things like that. And then suddenly in their late 20s, they've discovered that if you pretend that you like techno.
Yeah.
And then you go to techno stuff and say like, and just learn lists of DJs from Wikipedia. You can sort of pass yourself off as like a hackney person.
But are these people not? Is it not real?
I think if you do enough MDMA, it becomes real.
That's true. Yeah.
It's enforced reality.
If you do enough MDMA, it becomes real. Is such true advice for almost any situation. World War One.
Oh, I don't care for this rave or the Battle of the Somme, and then they have like 2 pills over the sort of 8-hour period, and then they love it.
Guy just rubbing a Lee Enfield rifle in the trench, just like this feels great.
Yeah.
Why don't we just get on with the Germans?
Well, that happened for a couple of weeks.
What do you think
the Christmas troops?
Oh yeah.
What do you think we do with the Germans now? If over the top of the trenches for Christmas, you want to play football? What's the equivalent? Share TikToks, favorite ticket.
You want to do like exchange favorite YouTube videos?
Yeah. Over the top of the trench.
No, mine next. Mine has to be next.
Yeah.
Have you seen the over the limit video of the Las Vegas Police Department arresting a man with a Budweiser tin contained in his jeans?
Yeah.
And he says the funniest line. He says, Was ist the brand? Was ist the brand? What brand does he have?
This one is sehr droll. Charlie hast mein Finger gebitten.
So,
This one.
This is 1917. They don't have good. They're still on those videos.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have the new one.
Stuff from Sony Ericsson camera phones.
Yeah. Have you seen the Have you seen the Watch the Brand video?
No.
Oh, it's my favorite. Everyone has a video, I think, that they've been watching for 12 years.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, trying to sleep.
It's The Hobbit. It's called The Hobbit, the film series.
Yeah, of course.
My favorite YouTube video is the full
movie of
uncut
The Hobbit.
Hobbit.
Have you ever done that when you show someone a video, but it's The Hobbit? You got to check this video out, and then you just go, no, kind of wait.
That's a
wait.
funny joke just to see how long.
Yeah.
You go, no, just wait.
It's
And
like
these are the start of this is a
new
movie.
line, the new line logo comes up. Goes, they go, what?
Is this a movie? And you go, no, just wait.
Just wait for it.
Just
wait.
be quiet.
And then you
Like,
go, no, but it's a movie. It's been like 5 minutes.
it gets good in 2 hours.
Just wait. No, just don't even say anything about it. Just go. Just wait. You'll see.
That could be a good
You get
game
them
to
to
see
watch
how
the-
long you could get someone to The Hobbit. It's clearly The Hobbit.
It's clearly The Hobbit.
Because the new line thing comes up, and maybe it's 2 towers.
Please
no.
Please
It's
do
Desolation of Smaug. Yeah.
Please do this and have like a league table.
Yeah, of who,
Like if
how
you
long?
did some of how many minutes
Yeah.
and seconds before they went, I'm not watching
Yeah,
anymore.
I can't engage with this anymore.
And whether or not they tap the screen, and
Yeah.
if they did so, when.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rule is you have to get them to watch as much of The Hobbit as you can
By presenting it as a hilarious
vid.
viral edit.
as a vid.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to say, obviously, this is for a thing. Let's just try. You know,
Yeah.
You have to, and you're only, and you're not allowed to. All you're allowed to say is, just hold on, just hold it. I promise
This is like a Troy
pays off.
Hawk kind of a thing. It's filmed at a distance. But instead of helping people going into Iceland, you're stopping them from going into Iceland.
Just
or
look.
whatever,
Look.
You
Look, just watch this.
For a second, I thought you meant it's The Hobbit filmed from a distance. Like you've got a version where it's taped from the back of the cinema.
Hold like a boombox with my laptop like that.
Yeah.
Or like say anything.
Young people now will never know.
Playing The Hobbit outside someone's window to win them back.
She's a nerd.
Yeah.
You don't do it to get girl back. You just cement that she should have left you.
Yeah. Make sure she should. Don't come back.
Yeah, she hates The
Stay
Hobbit.
out.
I've not changed. I'm still like this.
Can't sleep, won't sleep. Here's The Hobbit.
Can't sleep
Well,
work.
you're trying
Enjoy
to make your
independence.
girlfriend sleep. She refuses
Yeah.
to deal with her insomnia, and that's why you broke up.
You should get a T-shirt
Yeah.
that says "Can't sleep, won't sleep" in that font.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
Lord of the Rings to the font.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice bit of merch for you.
Yeah.
No, he's not wholesaling sheet metal. He's like, scavenging sheet metal.
Yeah.
He's not business to business.
Oh, I see.
He's not B2B.
You want to be a B2B guy with a handlebar mustache.
Yeah. Well, see, if
Whoa,
your whole
whoa.
You have to if you're
Why
going to
do I
do
have
something
a
involving.
mustache now?
Because you're involved in the sheet metal
So
business,
surely,
baby.
if you're wholesaling Chinese sheet metal from here, you're also wholesaling it back to China. Probably, it's just going from one factory in Guangzhou to another. So you're effectively you're doing like a just in time, like you're buying it and then having it delivered to your customer.
Yeah.
Because you can't be having it shipped here.
Mhm.
Either that or you've got a warehousing system in China. But I mean, you're looking at overheads
Well,
there.
you got to go over there as well. You got to have the contacts. You have to have you have to have a Chinese citizen who will co-own the business with you. If you're going to move money into and out of China, it has to be via Hong Kong still. Like, there's
Okay.
a lot of stuff to consider.
Yeah.
If you want to get into like,
Sheet metal.
well, or maybe it's like, well, I guess.
Pressing tea bags individually.
I like the idea of this, like though you in like a linen suit, like sweating absolute buckets, like touring a factory in Guangzhou that's like extruding something. It's not even clear what.
yeah,
it's
no,
like
plastic
glue of some kind.
Constantly
Constantly
full of sheet
constantly
metal.
saying, I need to inspect the machines.
Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like
just-
people calling you Mr. Riley. It's not clear what their job
I
is.
was
They have
just-
clipboards.
I was just Googling like what are the what British government agencies require something made of injection molded plastic.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like, oh, what am I gonna do?
Where does
Yeah.
everyone get their pens from?
So, well, because someone must have the pen contract, right? Someone has to. It can't
Yeah.
be no one.
It can't be no one.
Yeah, the government needs pens.
Yeah.
They're always
Yeah.
writing stuff down.
But yeah, it's not even specifically that. I just find them like
Where
sitting
do all
on
the traffic wardens get their pens?
who sells them the notebooks.
The small ones at the William Hill.
Oh yeah,
That could be you, man.
If you're a traffic warden, you're instructed to steal pens and notebooks from William Hill, and the William Hill's like, the bloody traffic wardens have been in again.
Like a sort of Spartan or something. So your rations are the enemy rations. Go get them.
Yeah. They've got like a little bolt cutter to snip the chain on the end of the pen.
Tiny blowtorch.
Yeah.
Like a little Ronson lighter.
See if that's on Alibaba.
An arms race between William Hill and the traffic wardens for how much more like chained to the desk the pens can be versus how much more armed with like bolt cutters and stuff the traffic wardens can be.
But you know what I mean.
And I know what you mean. It's something that I enjoy, but it's not directly in contrast to the other podcasts you do. But I do enjoy that you do have the mindset of what I would think of as like a sort of an 1840s industrialist in the Western United States, like the first guy to think California should have railways, or there could be a doohickey for that,
and using a similar amount of Chinese labor.
You think I'm Leland Stanford?
Yeah, maybe
specifically,
or just like you've got such a individualistic, capitalist, innovative mindset. Like someone's selling these pens, boy. And you go, and
the
then
way you make money in a bureaucity is by selling pens.
Yeah, or just 4 generations later, your surname is on a wing of Harvard.
I think
you have such a lust for business.
I think I just keep asking myself.
You're filled with business lust.
Well, I think at the other podcasts, just keep learning about business.
Yeah.
I keep learning about the kind of like fly-by-night wackos that are like, I've cornered the pen to the government market.
But you're like a wizard who's been corrupted by the spells he's been researching in order to destroy them.
I'm Inquisitor Eisenhorn, basically.
Or Saruman.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. You've been touching the magic so much that it's sort of...
I'm feeling sleepy every time you mention Saruman.